Hey guys, it's Abby from backatsquarezero.com, and I am taking you today on a walking tour of Charleston, South Carolina. I decided that I'm not letting the fact that I'm a little injured and can't run right now get to me. Instead, I'm going to enjoy that I live in one of the most gorgeous cities in the United States. It's always voted in like the top 1 or 2 usually. Tons of tourists come here all the time, and I don't have to be a tourist to come here. I get to live here year-round. So we're going to go on a little walking tour, and we're going to check things out, and I hope that you enjoy it. Okay, this is the Old City Market, located on Market Street, actually. It spans multiple city blocks and has recently been renovated. It looks amazing inside, but there are tons of little vendors and things. It's a really cool place to check out if you are visiting Charleston. It is a must-do. So make sure you head to City Market. Definitely a fun tourist trap. Okay, y'all, after exploring City Market, you're going to want to make your way down Church Street. Trust me, I've walked all over this city, and this is by far the most beautiful street. It has gorgeous tree-lined streets, and you can see why they call it Church Street. The view all the way down is absolutely incredible. It's a gorgeous walk, and you're going to head down for, 15-20 minutes, depending on how fast you walk, and you're eventually going to hit the water, which is just as beautiful. So, Market Street to Church Street on your walking tour. This church, the steeple was actually just redone a little bit ago because it still had a cannonball in it from the Civil War that was causing it to lean when I moved here. While walking down Church Street, of course, since we have all the churches, you're going to catch a view of lots of different graveyards. Some of these are open to the public from different times of day, and it can actually be really cool just to go in and to read and to see how old some of the gravestones are. And at night, they have ghost tours through lots of different places where they tell you about some of the famous ghosts that supposedly haunt Charleston and the stories. I'm not really into the whole ghost thing, but the tours themselves are really cool because there's a lot of history aspect with it about how these people lived and what they did when they were alive that supposedly has made them into a ghost. You learn about duels and different things that are really, really cool. So definitely something that if you're here, you might want to check out. And walking tours and ghost tours. Okay, doesn't this seriously just make you want to walk down it? Pirates Courtyard. And then all of these little things. I sneak in and out of all these little courtyards next to houses and places in Charleston in the morning when no one's looking, just to spy, even though I know I really shouldn't. But it's just an awesome town, gorgeous streets, great view. So we're going to continue on down, checking out. I love the window boxes. I just absolutely love all the colors that they have and all the old ironwork on everything. I mean, it is just amazing, especially on a morning like today where it's finally starting to cool down a bit. Okay guys, what you're looking at now is we are actually across the street from Dock Street Theater. Dock Street Theater is the oldest theater in the United States. The ironwork on this balcony is absolutely amazing. It's a really gorgeous theater, and it's actually recently been remodeled on the inside. And so you can go right in the door, catch a show, and check out the oldest theater in the United States. Pretty cool place. As Charleston is one of the oldest cities in the United States, it was actually in this area at Fort Sumter that the first shots of the Civil War were fired. A real old historic city. You do still see things like I have right across from me a road which is not actually paved but is cobblestone instead. Not very many cobblestone roads left just because they're hard on the cars, harder on the horse and carriages, and definitely harder on you when you're running. I'm a hot mess on these streets. But they are absolutely gorgeous with the tree-lined cobblestones. And then down here, we're about to hit Broad Street. All the houses south of Broad are referred to as south of Broad. Quite creative, right? Once you hit the area south of Broad, here there is nothing you can get for less than $1 million, and most of them are multiple millions. Once we start to get down, you're paying for the address, you're paying for the history, you're paying for a house that was probably lived in by someone ridiculously famous 200 or 300 years ago. Cool thing about Broad Street is that the first Friday of every month, there's probably 20 to 30 art galleries that open their doors and have free wine, free little appetizers, and you can wander up and down some of these gorgeous streets, check out the buildings, and enjoy some free wine and some free art. So that's definitely, if you're here on a Friday, something that no one ever tells tourists about. That is a must-do, just for the walking, checking out the art alone. Okay, this is a really good example of a Charleston single, as is the one next to it. They're the most popular style in Charleston down here, as they were the ones that were built during that Civil War and pre-Civil War time. It's called a single because all the windows in the front face one way, and there's matching windows on the back. It's a single room, and the windows are always opened on the front and back to try and catch the breeze off the harbor. There is a doorway, but the doorway leads directly onto a porch. And I'm walking through the middle of the street to give you guys these tours, so we'll hope I don't get hit by cars. And the doorway leads right onto a porch, which is gorgeous. The actual door you'll see is in the middle of the porch. So they'd leave that front doorway open to show that they were expecting visitors or accepting visitors, and then they'd close it when they weren't. The porches generally had little courtyards and things off of them, nothing too big. And then they would even have their kitchen houses behind, so you can see the little corner of the kitchen house, because they didn't want the kitchen connected to the actual house because there was a huge chance of fire back then. And you didn't want to burn your big, beautiful house down with the kitchen fire, so everything was separate. But walking down Church Street is great because it's not a really super touristy street. It's actually pretty quiet, and you see tons and tons of amazing architecture, great houses. I actually like ones like this a little bit better myself because I'm all about having some patch of grass. So this is not a normal single. It's facing the wrong direction. It has a yard. But when you walk down here, you do get to see tons and tons of beautiful houses. It's a little sunny right now, so sorry for that, but you can kind of check out. And the whole walk is like this. It's Saturday morning, about 9 o'clock, and I'm really the only one on the street right now because all the tourists are up near the market, and so I get to have this entire city pretty much to myself, it seems. So I'm definitely walking down Church Street, and you'll even see some relics or remnants of times gone by. This is actually right outside one of the houses, and it is actually where you would get on and off your horse or your carriage. It's a carriage stone, so it's left there so you could hop on or off the horse and carriage. So really cool, just the history here. Okay, before I get off my little Church Street tangent, this corner right here, this little area is my favorite. This house is absolutely gorgeous, as is the one next to it. But in front of the house, you see these big stone, almost look like miniature pillars. Well, this house is right on the corner of Church Street and Water Street. And it was called Water Street because at one point it was a canal. It was water right off of the bay, off the harbor. And these are actually pillars that were used as boat tie-ups because this would all right here have been underneath the water originally. Again, later on, of course, it was built up as you see these gorgeous, gorgeous houses here. But very cool to know that these are all where boats would have one point been tied up running down canals and such, and then to continue down and see just the amazing view of houses that you get on either side of the road. Lots of those singles that you see, and I personally love to peek into people's backyards and stuff and see what type of things they have. That's why I could never live downtown, because I want people peeking at my windows, but I'll peek in everyone else's windows because that's what you get if you live here. So hope you're enjoying it so far. Definitely a city that is beyond worth coming to visit. And if you come, let me know, and I'll give you some tips and tricks. And I know all about the food here. I'm a good eater, so definitely let me fill you in on the food. All right, when you pop out at Church Street, finally you arrive right here in front of White Point Park. White Point Park is located right along the Battery. This whole area around me where it looks like blue sky. If you can tell, it's actually water. It's the Charleston Harbor. This area is called the Battery because during the Civil War, this is where lots of the cannons and bombardment were set up. And there are still tons of cannons and cannonballs and things here that you can take really classy pictures with, I'm sure. I would get on and ride one of the cannons for you all right now, but as I'm alone and there's no one to take my picture, that might be a little more awkward than usual. But the whole park is filled with these ridiculously gorgeous live oak trees. The crazy branches everywhere. They are absolutely one of my favorite parts about the South.